advertising slogan this year is Bowl Week is the week the other 51 are jealous of. And I think that certainly holds true this week. And thanks to these two outstanding universities, with both tremendous football teams and tremendous coaches are here. So the 2013 Valero Alamo Bowl promises to be a great game, delivering many lasting memories of a lifetime. So now it's going to be my pleasure to introduce our two respective head coaches. First up is our visiting head coach, Mark Helfrich from the University of Oregon. This is Coach Helfrich's first season as head coach of the Ducks, following 4 seasons as the offensive coordinator, during which he was twice named Football Scoop's National Quarterbacks Coach of the Year. This year's quarterback, Marcus Mariota, finished the season ranked in the top 10 in 5 major passing categories, helping the Ducks to average nearly 47 points a game. The Ducks finished the season with a 10-2 record and ranked number 10 in the final BCS poll. So Coach Helfrich, welcome to San Antonio. I'm glad to have you here in the Valero Alamo Bowl.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ed. On behalf of the University of Oregon, our fans are excited to get down here, very excited to get down here. I think San Antonio is one of those great cities of America to visit. Something for everybody. It's a place you'd have to try not to have a great time, and obviously it's an honor to compete in the Alamo Bowl, and thanks to Valero and everything they've done for college football and everybody that is associated with this game. And it's an honor for me personally to sit next to Coach Brown and compete against the University of Texas, who called the other day. He's an icon of our game and an iconic program, and very excited to prepare to compete against them. And as I started watching film on these guys, that's not much fun. They're big and fast and physical, but our players, our coaches, our families, again, we're ecstatic to get down here and compete against Texas.
Coach Brown is in his 16th season at Texas and one of only 2 coaches nationally to direct teams to 20 bowl games in the last 21 seasons and 22 winning seasons in the last 23. He has a 10-4 bowl record at Texas and is a perfect 2-0 here in San Antonio. No jinx or anything, right, guys? At last year's Valero Alamo Bowl, the Longhorns defense recorded a record 10 sacks. This defense this year is anchored by Jackson Jeffcoat, the AP Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. And Jeffcoat had 5 sacks in the last 2 games. This year, the Longhorns finished with an 8-4 record overall and 7-2 in Big 12 play. Coach Brown, welcome back to San Antonio.
Thank you, Derek. We're excited to be back. There's no better town or city in this state or in this country that's great to the Longhorns more than San Antonio. We've been down here twice with the Iowa game a number of years ago, and then coming last year. In both cases, we were needed to pick up when we came. The crowd was unbelievable. The games were great. We had to come back to win both games, and it was fun. The whole week was fun. And it looks like the ticket sales are going wonderfully already for us, and I'm sure Oregon will sell out there, so it should be another sellout. We appreciate, Mike, what you and Valero do for college football and the bowl games. Without the sponsors, we couldn't share these wonderful experiences with all these kids, and that's great for us. You always want to be challenged in a bowl game, so you won't come in without an edge, and we got that without question. We've got a BCS-type team in the Alamo Bowl. Oregon could be as good as anybody in the country. They had a couple of slip-ups because of some injuries. They were key injuries. Mark's done a tremendous job taking over what was already a great program and moving it forward, and that's not an easy thing to do. So our players were disappointed that we didn't come out of the Baylor game winning the Big 12 championship, but at the same time, it didn't take them long to bounce back when they see who we're going to play in the bowl game, because Oregon's been one of the best teams in the country since these guys have been playing college football, and it's been fun for our guys to watch them, and now they'll have a chance to play. So I thought last year our bowl game was one of the best in the country, and I think this one could be. We've got to live up to our end of it, because obviously Oregon has, and we didn't finish the way we wanted to finish. So that'll be very exciting, and can't wait to get all that started. There's been a little speculation about my job situation throughout this week, if some of you haven't noticed. I told Mark, with all respect to he and Derek in the bowl game, I would address it very briefly, but we're here to talk about the Alamo Bowl and these 2 teams and our great matchup. We're not here to talk about me. That would be wrong of me to spend a lot of time dealing with that. My situation has not changed. I've got the best president in the country in Bill Powers. He's unbelievable. He's done a tremendous job for 8 years. What we did lose is an iconic athletic director in DeLoss Dodds that's been here 32 years and has run the best program in the country. without question. And he'd been my boss for 16 years. So we've hired what I think is a great athletic director in Steve Patterson. I got to visit with him a little bit in New York the other day, but I haven't had time to sit down and visit with him. And any time that your athletic director changes, that changes the game. So with all due respect to him, I want to sit down with he and Bill in the near future and talk about where we're going and where our program's going. I'm excited about our team and the way they fought back this year. They had more adversity than any team I've ever seen. We weren't excited to be 8-4, but we were excited about the way they played and they fought and they competed, and it was a great message for all of us. So moving forward, I'm looking forward to my meeting with Bill and with Steve, and we'll all get on the same page and then move forward. But again, I want the focus to be on these kids and the focus to be on this bowl game, because that's what we're here for. And I apologize to you for having to put up with this.
We'll now go to question and answers. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. If you're media on the call, you can hit *1, and on social media, it's #AlamoBowl.
Mack, along the lines, we've talked about distractions all year. This season's been nothing but. When you do get to talk with your team, what can you tell them just to get everybody's mind right?
Beat Oregon. And that's the only thing that's important. This is about the kids. This isn't about me, and it's about the kids moving forward. And that's what we are. Mark and I are guys that try to keep a staff moving in the right direction, keep all the distractions away from that. And it's about the University of Texas playing against Oregon. It's about the kids in that game. It's about this game. And we sure don't want that to be a distraction. So I haven't seen our kids since the Baylor game. And I'll leave here like Mark. It's a tough day for us because we're both recruiting and the dead period starts on Sunday. So we've got to get as much done today as we can. And then we'll have our banquet on Friday night. I look forward to seeing the kids because I know they were down after the Baylor game. And then we'll have our first bowl practice on Saturday and get started toward the ball game.
Hey, Mark, it's Rob Mobley. I just wonder, with you guys recruiting and with finals going on this week, how are you guys as a staff and then for your players beginning game prep? Is it just sort of sneak in, film review whenever you can?
That was for Mark.
Couldn't quite get the beginning of that. Yes, we are a little bit of everything. This is the toughest time of year, like Coach Brown was talking about, as we're transitioning from a end of your regular season to hit the road recruiting immediately. We throw our banquet in there before we go recruiting too, to just make it a little bit more challenging. But we'll finish up tomorrow afternoon recruiting, and then we're going to have a short practice Friday, and then we'll practice Saturday, Sunday, and then kind of begin in earnest on the game plan Monday as a staff.
#Alamo Bowl question also from Coach Helfrich. What was your reaction when Marcus said he was coming back, and should he have been invited to the Heisman announcement?
Well, we think Marcus is pretty special. So to answer the last part, if there's 6 better players in the country, and that's not in any way disrespectful of those players. Those guys are really great players. But Marcus Mariota is just a top-notch guy in every form. He's an excellent person, excellent student, and an incredible football player, and a guy that our guys have rallied around. And what was the first part of the question?
What about his coming back then?
His coming back, he had been hinting at that for a long time, and so it wasn't a huge surprise, but it was certainly a nice pickup in the recruiting class. Absolutely.
Will he be at the bowl game?
We're talking about Jeff Coat later, too, by the way.
Can you talk about Oregon's offense? Is anybody in the Big 12 comparable, or what have you seen on tape?
No, I don't think anybody does compare. They do a tremendous job of running the ball, and they all started the up-tempo stuff to be as fast as anybody in the country. And they do not give you an opportunity to line up. It makes it very, very difficult. They've got tremendous team speed. Where they do not get the credit is their lines of scrimmage, because I think that's where they've improved so much since we played them, even back in the Holiday Bowl in the early years. They're tremendous lines of scrimmage, but the quarterback to me is as good as anybody in America. He's just unbelievable. He can run, he can throw, he's a good leader, he's the guy. And when their backs touch it, they got a chance to score every time they touch it. And the receivers, because you have to spend so much attention to their running game, get in one-on-one situations, and then it puts you in a bind. So I think their offense is one that all of us are continuing to look at and try to emulate.
Yeah, this is Jason Quick from the Oregonian. This is for Coach Mark Helfrich.
Go ahead.
Mark, what would you say is the difference between your flips in October and November?
The difference between our team in October and November, is that what it was?
It's colder.
Yeah, it is colder in November. You know, as the season wears on, there's always kind of nicks and dings that take an effect. We played an excellent Stanford team that has obviously had a great run here recently and lost. And that was extremely deflating to a lot of guys. And we're both at places where after one loss, you know, there's some element of huge disappointment or the season's over. And I think that permeated a couple of our younger players. But I thought our guys rallied pretty well. Our win, especially against Oregon State and Utah as well, those were kind of just those games from the outside that it's like, oh, that's just another win. But those were grinded out, gutted out, really short-handed type of wins that you have to do to be as consistent as our guys have been and win as many games as our guys have won. You have to win a few of those every once in a while. And then part of it is playing great people. But hopefully we'll get healed up and ready to go for Texas.
Have you ever thought of doing uniform changes as frequently as Oregon?
When I got to Texas, Coach Royal sat down with me and he says, you know our colors are burnt orange and white, right? I said, yes, sir. And he said, you know we like our uniforms, right? I said, yes, sir. And he says, you're not planning on changing them ever, are you? And I said, no, sir. I think that answers the question. And with due respect, Phil Knight is a great friend of mine, and we love our Nike uniforms.
Coach Helfrich, can you talk about your Texas player on the roster and the importance of doing a showcase here when you're in San Antonio?
Yeah, Texas has been great to us in recruiting, and it's a place, obviously, the high school football is, you know, there'd be a couple, I guess, I was going to say second to none. I should say second to none in this room, but there's a couple other states that would argue that. But Oregon, just by population, doesn't have the depth of athlete across the country in our kind of wheelhouse states, California, Texas among them, hopefully. But it's a great place to grow up as a young man and play high school football. There's so many great little programs around the state that are, you know, could compete with anybody. And the coaching, the education system, top to bottom, is really good, and you kind of know what you're going to get from Texas, and we try to sneak in every once in a while and get a guy or two.
Coach Brown, with the losing the game to Baylor in the Big 12 championship, how do you expect the players to respond to that, plus the added distractions of everything else going on right now?
You know, I'm not worried about the other stuff, but you always worry when you lose your last game and it meant so much. You worry about creating an edge for your next game in the bowl game. And to me, the team that has the best edge in the bowl game is the one that usually wins, because there's more upsets in bowl games than at any other time in our seasons. I thought we were so lucky. I wasn't sure when we got the call from Derek, but I thought we were so lucky that we drew one of the best teams in the country. And a lot of teams are not going to have that opportunity to be challenged like that. So I was worried about who we would draw and would our guys be excited about it, and that got answered very quickly. And just talking to them, having texts from them, our staff that's been around them, there's such a buzz right now about this opportunity to be challenged by a great football team, and they respect them. So that's fun. So I really think, again, this town's going to be a buzz. Oregon has great followers. Our bunch will be here in full strength. So I just think it's a tremendous matchup, and I do understand and want to be honest that we got to hold up our end. They're going to hold up their end because they're really good, and that's what our bunch has to do.
You're really good at this.
Well, but it is true. I mean, I've watched them. I sat there, and in fact, when they were throwing out all the different combinations of things that could happen, I said, And Derek called, and I said, Derek, we were there last year, and he said, it'll be so much fun. So I said, we got it. But from that standpoint, I think both teams will respect each other. Our coaches like their coaches. There's a lot of relationships between the two, and I think it's fun. That also matters. Derek can tell you in bowl games, if you're coaching against somebody you don't like as a coach, it's not comfortable because you're around each other all week. If the staffs don't like each other, then it's more uncomfortable. But this will be fun. we'll all enjoy it, and we'll have a great game. Mark's never lost a bowl game.
That's right.
I have. So,
Undefeated.
Mack, when your back was against the wall, this team did respond against Oklahoma in a big way. Have you had a chance to reflect on why this team, with its makeup the way it is going to be a special one to you?
I think it's the senior class. You know, no team's put up with more stuff than this team, and you really like them and appreciate them. And whether it was an early coaching change and they responded to it and responded to us and trusted me with what we were doing, and then they played their rear ends off, or whether it's the amount of injuries. I've never seen this many injuries. There's probably 8 of our top 10 players that will not be playing in the bowl game, and these guys have just said no regrets and no excuses. Let's just keep playing. Let's don't sit around and talk about what's wrong. Let's talk about what's right. And they've been a fun group to coach. They've been attentive. They've played hard. We missed an opportunity at Oklahoma State, missed the opportunity at Baylor, which was really disappointing because we turned it around since the early losses. But they've given it their best, and that's all you can ask a team to do.
For Coach Helfrich and Coach Brown, as far as both of your teams started out kind of looking to higher goals, maybe championships, and now you guys are here and happy to be here, obviously, but what does it say about your team? I guess what lessons have they learned now that they maybe didn't end up exactly what they had set out to do, and why is it important for them to play in this game and play as hard as they would in any other?
Well, I think, yeah, we're both in places where if your record doesn't end in -0, there's problems, right? And those things are exaggerated, and it's, you know, this huge programmatic issue, and maybe it's the guy just didn't line up right, and how do we fix that? Or you know, maybe sometimes when you win you get lucky, and okay, we need to fix that too. But top to bottom, our guys will be very excited for this challenge, and to finish it right, to win your bowl game, whatever that is, if it's a BCS game or whatever's considered toward the bottom of the rung. It is huge. It's an opportunity for us to work with our young guys, to develop our depth. We're a very young football team, and to develop those guys and put them in different situations. And again, playing against a program like this, they're going to get physically challenged big time. And then you want to put an exclamation point on the end of the season rather than maybe a ...
We've told our guys, you don't get to choose where you go. You have to win to get to where you go. So it is what it is. If we'd won all the games, then there would have been other options in this one. We got lucky that we're coming to a fun place and a good place that we enjoy, and we love this city, and this bunch is adored by a bunch of Texas Longhorn fans, and we're playing a good team. So not everybody gets that. Not everybody's that fortunate, and some people that are in bowls that are considered maybe at a different stature don't get to play who they want to play. So we told ours, you play your way into bowls. You don't talk your way into bowls anymore. That's different. So it is what it is. You are who you are, and you take what you do.